like have you seen those ones where they often have like the subtitle that's like my year so far or something like that, and it's like someone struggling to do something and then falling over and then struggling and then falling over and they're just getting like completely blown out and they're like, that's cool. I like that some people feel like that.
Yeah. I like that people are having a worse time than me.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to episode 63 of Front Seat Gamer. I'm Nick. I'm here with Saveun.
Hey, Nick.
And Blake.
What's up?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
It's going well.
Good.
Yep.
You guys been playing anything good?
Nope.
Cool.
Jesus.
This is going to be a good episode.
I finished Horizon.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Gasp.
Yeah. I was
You finished it.
Well, I finished the main story.
Blake, have you finished it?
No.
Whoa.
How far through are you? You're at Meridian?
Oh yeah, I'm at the Meridian City. I don't want to spoil too much for listeners. But I've done some stuff.
Okay. Shit.
Whoa. Spoilers. Come on.
I haven't. Okay, I'll tell you how much of the map I've revealed. I've probably got like maybe 2 or 3 more long necks to get, and that'll reveal the whole map.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I finished it.
How was it?
It was okay.
It was okay.
Yeah. I like how Guerrilla went open world. And a lot of people seem to love this game.
Yeah, dude, it's good. Like, it has its flaws. I mean, the facial stuff, like, whew.
It's really weird time for facial animation right now.
It is, actually.
But yeah, it seems to, like, can you compare it to The Witcher? Because I feel like it very much has Witcher vibes.
Yeah, it's doing heaps of stuff.
But even down to, like, winning awards, you know, like The
Ooh.
Witcher.
Did it win awards?
Recently, there have been articles about Horizon cleaning up.
That's cool. I mean, oh man, The Witcher still was better, but
Oh, all right.
yeah, but no, it's like it totally, like we talked about this before, right? Like some of its quest structures are exactly the same as The Witcher, and its like mechanic with the focus thing is exactly like The Witcher sense. It's conversation stuff. I think The Witcher has like is way better than it because it's got that whole conversation wheel, right? And you can pick whatever you like part of the conversation you want, and so it makes the conversation feel real disjointed. And where in The Witcher you just get a few options and you go through them and they're all sort of connected to each other, and then you have a final option which you know will move the conversation to the next sort of phase of the conversation.
Yep. Yeah, very similar to Horizon.
Yeah, I guess, but like.
Sorry, with that last part, not with the branching structures.
Yeah, where you move the conversation, but they just like throw everything you could possibly say to at someone all at once, so you're just all over the place. Like you're talking about some guy's dead brother, and then the next minute you're talking about where I can buy something. And it's just like
So it just follows the natural flow of conversation.
yeah.
That's always been an issue with dialogue trees, in my opinion, or at least the current way dialogue is handled in a lot of games nowadays. Where it's just you're given options regardless of the context.
I think all it took was like The Witcher just thought a little bit like, let's just have phases or sections of dialogue to be like, this is where he asks about this thing, so the next kind of dialogue options are all going to be about that, and then you move on to the next thing, and it just feels more natural instead of jumping all over the place.
Yeah, I won't say anything about the ending because it just ruined it for you.
Man.
And I played a little bit of that Stanley's Parable.
Stanley's.
And I know you love
just
love when I get the name wrong.
I do. I love it so much. As we had discussed in the previous episode, I wanted you to play some Stanley Parable, and I had a copy of it. I think I have like over the last few years, I've accumulated like 3 or 4 copies of that game.
That's how much of a fan you are.
I don't know if I might. That might have been my last copy, but I'll see if I can find one. Now you said you played it.
I played 7 minutes of it.
Did you get to an ending?
No.
I thought you
You didn't get to an ending.
Well, it makes you feel dumb.
Why does it make you feel dumb?
With the narrator.
Oh, because he's criticizing you.
Basically, yeah. He's judging you.
Yeah.
But also, it was a thing of I deliberately went against what he was saying.
Sure.
And so I was in a room.
Yeah.
And then the commands were basically press I, press M to
Yeah.
do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did the first two, and then he hit me with a third one, and I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. I'm not playing this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm out. It very much came off as like, I'm stupid for playing this, so I better not play it because this is it.
Oh wait, so you
What?
shut it down then?
Yeah.
Oh man, okay.
It
'Cause you
reminded
totally-
me of war games. You know, the whole don't even play the way to win it is to not play
to
it.
not play. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because dude, you totally could have like, okay, you're following the guy and he's like saying press this, and now then you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. You should have just like not done those things in the game, but done something else. And
Yeah,
then,
I did. I controlled F4 well, I hold F4.
Oh.
But I did do two of them, and then I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, I can't progress without pressing that thing.
No, but
that-
that's the thing. Like that game,
You
if you
you
don't
should've-
follow
you should've
what he
played
says,
more
stuff
than
still
that.
happens.
I'm a little annoyed with you, Saveun, I gotta say, because I gave you a game, you played 7 minutes of it, and you said I don't like that it's telling me to do a thing. That's what games are all about. Is they tell you things, they give you tasks to complete. That's in fact the point of that game is pointing out
but no, I think
that the tasks you're given are completely arbitrary, and that the free choice is either an illusion or it's part of the gameplay. You know, like.
No, I understand what it wanted me to do.
But you don't. I don't think you did because you didn't finish it.
Well,
if you'd
no, I
finished-
did
if you-
finish it. I probably won't play it.
No, I think if you had finished, if you had just continued to press that, you would have seen some interesting things.
no, or
happen.
if you
decided
not
to
pressed
not.
it.
Yeah.
yeah, if you've been
The-
like,
the whole
fuck
point of
this,
that
I'm
game-
gonna leave my office in the game and walk somewhere else.
Yes.
and be like,
The
yeah.
whole point of that game is
I couldn't
what
exit
happens
that room. I couldn't-
it's a commentary on choice, and it's really interesting. And you should have.
No, I understood that.
I don't.
I didn't.
But then you didn't follow it through.
Yeah, because it was making me feel like a jerk, like an idiot.
Why?
Because I was reduced to a guy that pressed one key. I was
Yeah.
that. I was
But then
Stanley.
that's-
I was
that's-
very much
Right.
reduced to that.
But then
But I felt like that too.
you had a choice there. You could have not pressed it. You could have gone somewhere else and done something else.
Well, I mean,
No, I was
He
actually
did.
locked off in a room.
he did go off and do something else. He closed the game and then probably went off and had a nice dinner with
I'm
someone.
annoyed.
I loaded.
I'm annoyed, Saveun. I gotta say, I'm annoyed.
Loaded up GTA instead and was like, yeah.
I was like, oh, check out these choices. I can describe the environment, but it was the
It's not the point of it is not to describe the room you're in.
but it did look a lot better than the actual
Oh, the
Steam.
mod, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
God
Well,
damn, that was
sure.
rough.
I
Holy
mean,
shit.
I think it would be cool if we did do a YouTube video with that because it's like a nice, quick little game that
Yeah.
you can just slowly get annoyed at, and
All right.
we can film it.
Yeah, once we get a camera or something.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
get some stuff.
I think
Um,
you need to play that game and actually play it, as opposed to saying, "I see what they're doing. I'm gonna turn it off."
Mm-mm.
That's like saying, "Oh, I see what this
The,
television show
the
is trying to
payout,
say.
the payout's really
If
good.
this movie has a message, I'm not gonna bother watching it." Like,
sometimes I do feel like that though. Sometimes I'll be watching a TV show and be like, "Oh, it's one of these episodes. I'm gonna skip it."
okay, well, what happens if it turns out that episode surprises you?
Then I regret it because that's definitely happened before.
Yep, there you go. You're gonna live with regrets, Vern.
Okay.
Your life is
It's-
gonna be filled with regrets because you never finished the Stanley Parable.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, I know that feeling when you're just being told to do something rudimentary that is like kind of stupid.
It's a very patronizing type of thing as well. That
But that's the point. The point of it is to be patronizing, and then you have a choice. Like, you can just be patronized and follow through, or you can look at your other
the
options.
area I didn't have any other choices.
You definitely did.
I attempted to explore other choices,
huh.
and it was follow the voice,
Yeah.
or quit the game. And
That's
you know,
I
fool me
I
twice.
can I can say with complete authority that's not the case.
Okay.
All right.
So-
Well, don't spoil too
right.
much because
Maybe
this,
we
this is
can
going to be
return to this.
YouTube content, I think.
Yep. Yep, we're gonna make
Look,
you sit
I'd
through
like
that
to
one.
be happily surprised.
Yeah.
That game is all about surprises. That's what I really like about that game.
Okay.
And it's not even really a game so much as like an interactive exploration of story and structure. And I really like that. Anyway, I haven't been playing too much. I played a little. We played some Stellaris in the office.
Yep, we had a big podcast about it. That was cool.
That podcast came out like 3 weeks after the game that we actually had been playing.
Yep.
We finished sort of that game, right? Sort of.
Yeah. We'll probably continue it. Like
Yeah.
some shit happened.
People who have been listening to specifically the Stellaris stuff, an update. We got to the end game, like event, the Galactic Crisis or whatever it is, and this is one that I don't think anybody had seen before. Had you seen that?
No,
one before?
very few of us had seen it before. I hadn't seen it before. Yeah, and very few of us had.
It was basically, what are they called? The something Scourge.
Yeah, they were.
Praetorian Scourge or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were basically a swarming alien creature that approached the edge of the galaxy, started chewing into Blake's territory very quickly.
Yep. They ate half my empire.
Yep.
You couldn't defend yourself?
No.
Shit.
No, I thought I could. I remember because you get a decent warning, and I was like, I'm ready for this. I've got armies and fleets. This would be easy. No problem.
Did
And
they take out your space stations?
Yep.
Fuck.
they took out everything.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they got a foothold in your territory really quickly.
I had to move all my industry to the other side of my empire, and yeah, it was not cool.
We were all sort of trying to fight off the Scourge, except for Mike. Mike had returned to the game after having the AI completely expand his territory.
Yeah.
Very unhappy about that, apparently. Did not like that the AI had basically dominated the galaxy.
The AI had taken so many planets and systems that he just couldn't manage them, and they were all very badly set up, and they were not optimized, and he had hardly any income because he had such, I don't know what was going on.
I think he just had a lot of costs.
Yeah.
And I told him he should have just started disabling things if that was his concern, but instead he wanted to complain.
Well, yeah, that is the thing. That is Mike.
Yep. And so then, of course, as the Scourge approached the galaxy and started chewing through your territory, we all tried to sort of put a stop to it, except for Mike.
Well,
Mike did not participate.
Well, that's the thing. He said he did. He sent some fleets down to help out. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe because he wasn't at the office, he was playing remotely, so I couldn't tell what the hell he was doing. But I kept looking in his empire, and he had 70k fleets just sitting there. And I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was he said his fleets were out of date.
Yeah.
But there were still 70k fleets, so I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, that was, and we might continue it or
it sounds like everyone was sort of in agreement that we wouldn't continue that one. I kind of wanted to just because I had never seen that play out.
Yeah, I'm all right either way. It's fine.
I'm excited to start again. I want to be not the humans this time.
Yep.
That'll be exciting.
Have you realized humans are just inferior?
They're just boring.
They're vanilla.
I played the United Nations of Earth. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And that was basically about as politically correct and normal and boring and vanilla as you could. Although I will say I was very pleased that I kept accumulating refugees.
Oh yeah, that's right.
By the end of the game, I had 13 different species living on one planet.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's pretty good.
You mostly have me to thank for that.
Yep. You ate a lot of different species and they sent their refugees to me. I was basically turning into a galactic zoo. It's pretty fun.
That's how you treat refugees.
Yeah. I cage them and feed them.
Here we go. Yeah.
Jeez.
This is just how my policies are.
So I've been playing a couple of games.
Yeah, you've a few days ago said I might have some No Man's Sky.
Oh well, we'll get to that.
Okay. Whoa.
Shit.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
And I wish I hadn't said it was No Man's Sky news because it's more of a ridiculous surprise when it's not. If you didn't know, but that's not what I want to talk about right now. I've been playing a game called Everspace that was recommended to us by a listener. I think it was Rob Wolf. I think.
Cool last name.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a roguelike in space where you're piloting like a little fighter ship, and you warp into like areas, and there's enemies and loot to find and this sort of stuff, and then you're always being chased by like this giant force, so you can't like spend forever.
This is what you're describing is FTL.
Yeah, it's like a first person FTL.
Oh, it's first person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. No, you're not piloting a like a crew or anything. You're not managing a crew.
You're the actual.
You're
pilot.
the actual pilot.
That's cool.
And you've got like an AI guy talking to you and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've sort of worked like death into the story a little bit. Like it as you keep dying, and you're like, man, this is hard. You trigger like story events where you find out that you're like a clone. So every new life is just like a spit out a new clone.
I like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it has Rogue Legacy kind of elements as well.
Like you die and you earn things for your next playthrough.
Yeah, you die, and all the money that you've earned, you then spend on upgrades, and you can buy new ships and all this kind of stuff.
I really liked that system.
Yeah, it's really cool. Except, so the thing with this is that like after a while, it just feels like a grind. Like you're just grinding to get these to get gold, basically, to upgrade your ship, and like the areas you go to I look really beautiful, but essentially they're not as interesting as like the procedural dungeons in Rogue Legacy, right?
Right.
Like, yeah, and then you do kind of, I don't know, you get further and further, but it just feels like, what's the point?
Yep. I mean, to be fair, the argument can be made for any game.
Yeah, I guess so. But it is like the minute to minute is like quite fun. Like you warp into a system and you're not exactly sure what's going to be there, and sometimes there's like really big ships that you can't take out, and other times there's like they have these weird like little dungeony things where it's like broken up space stations, and you can like fly in there and like navigate around this like rusted like interior, and and you find loot and stuff like that, and you're upgrading your ship, and that stuff's really cool. But
it's just the broader structure has some flaws.
Yeah, it just I don't know. It's I don't know.
It's see, I'm interested in that because I played quite a lot of FTL.
Yeah.
And I always felt that the combat was the weakest part.
Right.
And so having like first person, like actual dogfighting.
Well, that's the thing. The combat is really cool. Like all the stuff you're doing when you warp into a system, all the stuff you're doing in there is really, really cool.
Yeah.
But then the idea of like you're just continually warping from system to system to system.
Yeah.
With no real goal other than like getting as far ahead of this larger force as you can.
Right.
And
that was the case in FTL as well, right?
Yeah, it was. I suppose.
Was
there a boss at the end though?
There was. You were trying to like race to let the rebels know that something or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
And it has that same kind of feeling that Rogue Legacy got later on, where you're going through, you're at a higher level, and you want to be fighting in the gardens or whatever, but you have to go through all these other things to get there. It has that feeling where you're like, okay, I'm starting again. I want to get to like the 5th sector, but I have to go through all these like lower level sectors, and because I'm not keeping any gear, and I mean I'm still upgrading my ship, which is cool, but like gear and weapons and all that you have to find again.
Yep.
And that's where the grind.
Yeah. Rogue Legacy coped with that fairly well because the areas were quite small, and you kept swords, didn't you? Am I imagining that? You are imagining that.
Am I? I'm sure I remember buying weapons in that.
Oh.
Or was that just part of your character?
I think the weapons were part of the character.
Damn it!
I don't know now. Oh,
that was a long time
ago. Yeah. I do remember that like your boss kill progress was saved.
Yeah.
Right? If you killed a boss, that boss was dead for all characters.
Well, I don't know. I haven't really encountered any bosses, or except one that killed me. But then that seemed to be part of the story.
Right.
Um,
You just get killed by a boss, and that's the story.
yeah. Well, you get killed by this rival dude who's like, "Oh, you betrayed us," blah blah blah, and
Great. Now we know that you betrayed them.
well, I don't know, because like the part of the thing is that these clones don't have any memory, and they're like piecing together this memory of what the hell they're doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you fight this dude, and I think you can probably beat him, because I got kind of close, but then I ended up getting wasted. But then that seemed to be part of the story was worked into that, so it was fine. Yeah.
Saveun, have you played Rogue Legacy?
No.
Have you played any roguelikes recently?
No. Ever.
Ever?
Actually. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, the actual name, like a roguelite,
Yeah.
that was very new to me.
Okay. Does it interest you at all?
A little bit. I remember you had an idea, which was pretty interesting.
Did I?
Yeah. It was awesome, by the way.
I'll have to remember.
You have to remember what it was.
Yeah, I'll have to ask you about that later. But I reckon. Did you like Castlevania? Did you play any Castlevania games?
I wasn't. Was that a Super Nintendo game?
It was on a bunch of different platforms.
I can't remember. I don't have fond memories of Castlevania.
Okay. How about like Super Metroid?
Not so much.
Okay.
Are those roguelikes? Are they
No.
considered roguelikes?
Well, no. But Super Metroid has a lot in common with Castlevania,
and
and Castlevania has a lot in common with
I mean, that's
Rogue
why
Legacy.
there's the.
I was gonna inch my way over back to Rogue
All right.
Legacy.
Isn't that why there's the thing of Metroidvania?
Yes, exactly. I reckon.
I should check them out.
Yeah, Rogue Legacy's worth picking up. I reckon it's
Yeah,
a good
Legacy is
sort
cool.
of side-scrolling platformer hack and slash kind of game.
Mm.
It's got some cool like progression elements. Like you make your way through the areas, and you collect gold, and you kill monsters, and you learn sort of the layout of the area, and then inevitably you die, and your son or daughter is the next character you play as, and you get to upgrade their base stats a little.
They all have different traits.
Yeah.
And there's one guy that has vertigo, and so like the whole level is upside down, I think.
Does he? There are some like really weird ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's people that are colorblind, so the whole screen is like black and white.
Yeah.
There's one that has nostalgia, so everything is also black and white, but also kind of like looks like old film footage or something.
Yeah. There's some cool, like they do some cool visual stuff.
There's one guy that's just tiny.
So
one for people that are just big.
do you know much about roguelikes, Saveun?
No.
Okay. So
Nothing at all.
they're called roguelikes because there was a game called Rogue, and the thing that sets roguelikes apart, or like the sort of the key defining features of roguelikes are like random level layouts and random sort of loot and items and what word loot is items.
It to me feels like a bite-sized Diablo.
Yeah, well, Diablo was very much an evolution of the roguelike.
Okay.
But even more so than Diablo, even the fundamentals of the gameplay could be randomized. You wouldn't, for example, okay, so there's one I play on phone sometimes called Pixel Dungeon, and you can pick up scrolls and potions and all these things, and they're all unidentified. And when you use them, or when you find a scroll of identification and can identify them, you find out what they do. And that changes game to game. So like a red potion might heal you in one game and might set you on fire in the next. And so every time you sort of have to completely start from scratch, figure out what each thing does, and then inch your way through the dungeon.
Okay.
It's really cool. But if you don't like losing, if you find like dying frustrating, then roguelikes are really hard. Because
their death penalty is just start again.
Yep. Yeah, basically the whole format of a roguelike is go until you die.
Yeah, there's something about that does not appeal to me.
You do, so oftentimes now roguelikes have meta progression, like Rogue Legacy, where you die and that makes your next run in some way easier or your character in some way stronger next time.
Which is really cool. I think that's actually really, really cool.
It is a great, it means you actually see progress over a series of playthroughs. You can still kind of get screwed, like you go two rooms deep and there's a boss or whatever, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I just lose.
But they do end up with a certain amount of grindy feeling, because
they can,
because to get ahead, to keep pushing forward, you have to go through more and more stuff that you've kind of already gone through, even though they might be laid out differently and stuff. It's still of that same level.
I like that people like it.
Yeah.
I'm not. That structure, that gameplay loop is not appealing to me.
Doesn't appeal to you?
None of it.
Okay, interesting.
The punishment, like that's not.
Well, the key for a good roguelike is to not make it feel punishing. If a good roguelike feels very challenging and you feel smart for working things out. Like you go, oh, I know exactly. I recognize this pattern. I know where this room's probably going to lead. That sort of thing. You start to work out some of the structural elements, and that feels very rewarding. And the meta progression should help with that, like, feeling of punishment. But yeah, if you don't like the idea of like make it 2 levels and then die, and then next time you might make it 3.
Yeah, it is that whole like, inching your way forward through a thing, like, which is fun when you start getting the ball rolling, but then when you realize how far you then have to go to keep pushing forward, that's where I sort of run out of steam. Like I never finished Rogue Legacy because of that. Like I got to a certain point where I was like, I'm going through the same stuff over and over and over just to get to like new stuff, and it was I couldn't do it.
I did beat Rogue Legacy.
Yep. It was a cool game.
It is. I don't mind so much the repetition as long as it always feels like I'm discovering new things. When I start losing interest is when I like, okay, the next like 10 things is just going to be level ups.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. What I want to see is cool new mechanics or interesting new items or whatever it is, or like a cool fight, new enemies, whatever it is. Finding weird secrets and stuff. That's what I enjoy in roguelikes.
I've also been playing Black Desert Online.
Yeah, you mentioned this before the podcast. Now, this is, if I recall correctly, this is the one that has the very fancy character creator, right?
Yeah, they're real hot.
Sure, yeah.
I made some hot ladies.
Yep, okay.
And then I logged off.
Interesting. So
no, it was cool. Yeah, so that game is, there's a lot going on in that game. Like, do you guys know much about this?
A little bit. How many hours have you put in?
Oh, dude, actually not that many. I've made like 2 characters. I started one character and ended up not liking that class.
So about 40 hours.
Yeah, so about 40 hours. But the funny thing is, the thing that made me finally like tip over and buy it was it was on Steam, on that Steam sale a while back. But also it has controller support, so I can just sit back and play it like a Witcher or whatever, like in the comfort of my chair.
That's not a big sell for me.
That's a big selling point for me. It's just like, how lazy can I sit while I'm playing this? But yeah, like I looked up some YouTube videos, and someone at work was telling me about it as well, that there's like resource nodes that you can control, and like there's like supply wagons and things, and like I think your guild can control like a town or something like crazy like that, and there's like this whole trading empire thing that you can do, and I was just like, this sounds crazy. I'm gonna try it out. But when I loaded it up, it presented me with one of these tutorials that it reminded me exactly of what you were just talking about with Stanley Parable, where it said, okay, press W to move forward. Okay, you've done that. Now press left and right to move side to side. And it just slowly takes you through every single like step to do things. And I'm just like, man, can't I just skip this and go straight into the actual game? And I still think like, I've probably been playing it for like 3 hours, and I'm pretty sure I'm still in the tutorial, because I'm getting these like quests that seem very tutorial-y. Like, here's what these icons mean over NPCs' heads and stuff like that. And it's stuff I've already like figured out just seeing, like just being in the game.
And it didn't give you a skip or anything?
No skip. And because they're presented as quests, it's like, well, I'm getting XP and rewards for doing it, so I might as well go through it. But I think I'm getting close to the end of the tutorial, finally.
Carl was talking about, apparently this is just a common trend in like Chinese and Korean MMOs. they just have a lot of tutorial.
Maybe.
Like, they will basically hold your hand for the first
Yeah, it
10 hours.
It
or
feels
whatever
like that. It feels like I'm being led by the hand, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to like pull away to go to see something else.
Right, you
but
want to
they're
actually
like,
explore the game.
Yeah, they're like,
no.
don't bother doing that because you
No.
only have access to tutorial
Yeah,
quests right now. It's no point
very
exploring that
frustrating.
forest over there. I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah.
especially I've been working on a tutorial.
Yeah.
And that's people have started using it.
Yeah.
It's in the beta right now.
Well, I think that's why I was so aware of the tutorial, because you guys it's been talked about in the office. Like,
Yeah.
tutorials have just been a hot topic
Yep.
at work for a while.
Yeah, we have, or at least I have tried to make it so that it doesn't feel like it's holding your hand.
Yep.
The tutorial basically only, for the most part, lasts through Twilight Strand.
Well, it's all like our game, like it's already pretty linear, so
Yeah,
like you can't, like it's not like an
can't
open.
really get lost.
Yeah, it's not like an open world where you're trying to, people could easily get distracted. If you get
Right.
distracted playing Path of Exile, well, you're still in the same area, and you can only go to one or maybe two other areas.
Yeah, you can't accidentally wander into a level 60.
Yeah,
though.
you can't like suddenly find
Yeah.
yourself in Act 4 going, oh wait, how did I get here? What are gems? What are skills?
Do you remember in World of Warcraft, if you started off in like Tearsful Glades, it was like the level 10 area, or
Yeah.
between levels 1 and 10 for the undead.
Yeah.
And then right next door was like level 50.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, oh, oops. Got
Well,
too close to the wall and a bear
Well,
chased me.
I remember just in like in Alwyn Forest looking over the river to see these like skull level rated wolves, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh my, what is going on over there? Black Desert, it seems so dense. Like there's just its UI is a huge mess.
Yeah.
It's giving me.
Is it actually though?
I think it is.
Okay.
I've heard that
Maybe it's not. But I mean, it's presenting a lot of stuff for me to do. Like stuff is popping up all the time. Like I think there's like the area I'm in, I'm somehow getting achievements for like participating in some sort of area event that I have no idea what it is
Wow.
or what any of the like reward talk is like even talking about. Like
Right.
I don't understand
You've
anything.
earned 12 bleep blops.
Yeah. It's like,
okay.
congratulations, such and such is now stronger or whatever. I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. And there's there's whole quest types I don't have access to. Like there's even fishing quests and trade quests, and it sounds
It sounds like it's throwing too much at you too quickly, and at the same time not letting you actually try any.
Yeah,
of
that's
it.
exactly it. It's like restricting. It's showing me how much I could possibly do,
And then
and
saying,
just
"You
that
can't
is
engage in
overwhelming.
any of it."
Yeah, and just seeing it is overwhelming, and then also not being able to even engage in any of it right now because
Right.
I'm stuck on this tutorial track is annoying.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. It seems a little bit grindy, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you don't mind some grind.
I don't mind a little bit of grind. There's even like I'm so sure there's even like quests that say about grinding, and
What?
yeah, I'm so sure I've seen things that are like
Kill
grind-
400 boars and then
grind spots or something,
Oh,
grinding
boy.
nodes or something on the map or something like that.
Doesn't sound appealing to me.
But the thing is, like, I don't know any of this because I'm stuck on this tutorial thing, and I got to get to the end of it, and then I can actually see what this game has.
Yeah.
Because I went around this whole town talking to every notable NPC, and they all had like nothing for me, no quest for me, except for the one guy that was like part of this tutorial.
Right.
And there's this whole. This is the thing. I have access to this whole conversation mechanic that I
Okay.
don't know anything about. Like they
Yeah.
didn't tell me anything about that, and it's like the more people I know in this town, the more nodes of conversation I've unlocked. So when I go to a character, there's like this weird mini game where I'm like clicking on these notable NPCs' faces in the town that this NPC knows.
Yeah.
And then there's some weird matching thing that like gives me points for how much that person likes the people that I'm talking to them about.
What?
And you do it in like some weird order, and then it's like, oh, you do want to go again, and I'm like, okay, and I do it again, and then I have to do it in a different order, And it just makes I don't know what, and
Wow.
I get conversation points for it, but I don't know what they're gonna
Don't know
what
what
they're
they're
for,
for. Okay.
or what or anything. Like it's nuts.
Are you having fun?
I don't know.
Okay. And to me, so what I've heard about that game is looks beautiful,
Yeah.
kind of a nightmare to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's a nightmare I want to figure out.
Okay.
Like maybe, yeah.
Have your dreams analyzed?
Yeah. Because the things I've heard about it sound really cool. You know, like the.
I don't know. None of
Well, I
that
don't know.
sounded
It
cool
sounds
to me.
okay. It sounds different to World of Warcraft, and
Sure.
I think that's what I'm really liking
Okay.
is that this is an MMO that's up there and it's different, and it's definitely different.
It's free to play, right?
Yeah, it's free to play, but you got to buy it. But I bought it on
What?
Steam. Yeah,
You have to buy it?
Yeah, you have to. It's a
Buy a video game?
yeah. What
Tell me more.
what is that free to play model called where you buy it but you don't have a subscription for MMOs?
That's
People call that free to play, but I mean,
not
technically
that's
you
like the
you've
Guild
bought
Wars
it.
2 model, right?
Yeah. It's like that. I mean, that's the Elder Scrolls model as well.
But in Elder Scrolls you can buy other stuff.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
can put money towards other
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I'm pretty
yeah.
sure.
You can probably do that in this, but I mean that's
Right.
going to be a whole nother layer that I don't want to accidentally buy something and
Right.
not know like conversation points.
I don't know. I'll tell you what I've been thinking about this a lot lately.
Yeah.
I've started playing I download a lot of free to play games on the phone because I just like to try a bunch of stuff and see what's interesting, what's
Yep.
not. And I downloaded one called Tiny Rails. It's a free to play like train game, I guess.
Mhm.
How do I describe this? As it actually turns out, I think it's basically an idle game,
Right.
very well masked. But I got very annoyed very early on because they're taking me through this tutorial, and at one point they're like, "Okay, now you've earned some coins. You can upgrade the speed of your train." And I click it, and it spins the coins, and a little progression bar appears. And,
Oh, yeah.
and you can speed up the progression bar by spending gems.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Pretty common trope.
Yep.
And they give you a gem so you can speed it up the first time. Like, okay,
Mhm.
sure. And then later on in the same tutorial, they show me this system where you can hire employees.
Oh, yeah.
And the employees will like give you a boost for a certain amount of time, and those also cost gems, like the real money currency functionally. And this is all still part of the tutorial. Like they've now pointed out 2 places where I can spend money, and they then say, and if you keep hiring this like the same employees over and over again, they get better. So now there's like an incentive to just keep spending money nonstop.
How do you feel about that?
It's terrible. Like.
Yeah.
I haven't even really engaged in the game, and you've
Yeah.
shown me 2 places to spend money, and said, and it gets better and better the more you spend.
Yep.
That's terrible. No, that's awful. What I want to do. Okay, I've talked about Solitairica in the past. Solitairica is a fantastic phone game. They give you a good gameplay experience, and they say if you want to pay money, there's a lot more where that came from. And that's awesome because I immediately bought it.
Yep.
What I want is a good game that has like more content that I can pay for. I don't want to be like, here's some really basic gameplay and like a bunch of places where you can spend money. That's not a game. That's just a wallet drainer.
Yeah.
Like that's not fun.
That sounds like such a what would you call it? The kind of people that's like
They're just nickel and diming you at every like possible
Yeah.
opportunity, and no, I don't want to watch numbers go up and then spend money. That means I'm watching one number go down, a much more important number.
it's like it's the kind of game that sounds good from the perspective of like investors, because
Yeah.
it's like here's like just you said, here's a game, and here's all the ways that we're going to make money off it, and an investor will go, yeah, this sounds great.
Yeah, but I don't own that company, so
Yeah, no,
that sounds
I know.
terrible.
But it's
When
but then it's
I play
strange that it's
Solitairica, and it's like, oh, they released 4 new classes, and I can spend $5 or whatever and get them all.
But then
Awesome.
it's strange then that they would present that to a player who doesn't really
Who hasn't even really engaged in the game yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
be like,
by the way-
here's all the places that you can
yeah,
spend money.
It's literally like,
Like,
I
wait,
know
what?
your train has already been to one other station.
Yeah.
Here's 2 places you can spend money.
Yeah.
Like, I have seen less gameplay than places to spend money.
Yeah.
Like it's completely insane. This is an awful trend.
I don't think that's uncommon.
It's not uncommon.
not, yeah.
But this was one of the most stark examples of it I'd seen in a while.
Did I
It was
Yeah.
literally like 10 seconds apart.
Oh,
It was
Jesus.
really bad.
Yeah, okay. So you uninstalled it straight away.
No, I haven't uninstalled it, but I haven't played it again.
Okay.
I was just like,
I think
okay,
that
no, I
would
don't
make
need
you
this.
determined not to spend money on it. Then I
Yep.
think you'd just be like, I'm gonna prove these
Exactly.
guys wrong.
Yeah, like if I compare it to a game like Clash Royale, which
Mhm.
has like a speed up mechanism, you
Mm.
can get the chest and you can speed them up, and you could also buy the chests and all this
Yeah.
other stuff, but they don't direct you towards buying the chests as part of the tutorial.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
they're just
Do
they're there and you'll find them because
Yeah.
it's right there, but like it's not like, by the way, buy a chest and you can do it, and also every time you buy a chest it gets better, so just keep buying
Wouldn't it be
them.
great if the tutorial was you entering credit card details?
Oh,
my
yeah,
God.
that's the next step, right?
yeah.
That's great. And then
Let's play.
buy something. Like,
Right
oh, yeah.
clicker. It's just-
Well done.
Wow.
That'd be
Well done.
fantastic.
Congratulations on your first purchase.
Yeah.
You get a star. Only 5 more stars until you can
See,
unlock
the app is one of
The
those
next
old...
star is $1 more. Every time you buy a star, it's more expensive.
The app is one of those credit card machines that you use to like swipe back and forth.
So
Oh my
rough,
God.
man. So many games at the moment are falling apart because of the business model. It's very frustrating.
Mhm.
Like I was talking about that. I was playing that game called like I Am Innocent or whatever it was.
Mhm.
Yep.
That had some amazing like story hooks and interesting storytelling mechanisms, and obviously the guy wanted to make money off of it because it kept pulling you away from that and
Oh,
towards the
yeah.
bad puzzle mechanic that
Ugh.
just kept getting more and more random and more difficult.
It's tough though. Like mobile games and how you pay for them has evolved a lot over the last,
It has,
10 years.
but I don't think that the current method is the.
No,
I don't.
I-
It's not sustainable.
no, and I don't think it's gonna be like that forever. They'll just change over time. Like you've seen it. Like we've got to the state because people have been trying different stuff and what works and what doesn't work, and we'll get to some other point.
I'm worried that it does work though. My worry is I'm a person who
It works
doesn't want to pay
Too
for that
much
sort of
on enough people.
stuff. Yes, there are enough people out there who are
Mm.
fine immediately dumping gems into the tutorial, and so they make their
Yeah.
money. They make
Yeah.
another game and they make more ways
that's
to
the thing.
milk you. Whereas like the games like Solitarica, which are just solid games that you
Mm.
can pay for, people are like, paywall, nah.
Yeah.
Even if the game's great, I find that frustrating. That's
Did
all.
I talk to you about that game Warframe in there?
You did, yeah.
Yeah, they're an alright game, perfectly fine,
Yeah.
and they're free to play, and they've got like a store where you buy stuff, and you can like buy Warframes, or you can buy blueprints, or you can still like get all the stuff in the game anyway. So it's just like your standard, like average like microtransaction store,
Mm.
And that's fine. And but then playing it, because you can still you craft stuff in the game, so you spend hours gathering all this resources for this like weapon that you want to make, or you can pay real money to just buy that weapon straight off. But I was like, no, I'm going to gather it because that's the game for me.
Yeah.
And then you put it in its like crafting machine, and then it presents you with a bar that says 12 hours, and then it says you can do this instantly for a little bit of extra money.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm not playing this game anymore.
Yep, that sucks.
Yeah, it was just they don't need it. That's the
Right.
thing that annoys me, is that they absolutely do not need that, because they've got a perfectly good microtransaction system. Otherwise, it's just like they slap this on,
An extra layer.
yeah, and another extra layer that is no reason to be there
Except to make money.
except to make money. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really. I mean, if Clash Royale said you have to play a bunch of games to earn enough materials to craft a chest,
yeah,
and then you get to unlock the chest, but there's a 12-hour wait,
yep.
that game would not be popular.
Or you could just buy the chest straight up.
Yeah,
or that you can buy the ability to open the chest straight away. Like,
I mean, you can do that. The
yeah, I
thing
know
is,
you
like,
can do that, but you don't do
but
both.
yeah, exactly. You it's one or the other in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
that
One or the other, and
sucks.
not layered on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
No.
yeah, should we? Do you want me to tell you this No Man's Sky stuff?
Yeah, sure.
All right.
All right, Blake.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gents, for a real fun talk.
Okay, so this is a bit of a wily topic, so I might stumble.
Wily.
Yeah.
Like a coyote?
Yes. All right.
Uh-huh.
Almost yes.
Almost,
Okay,
yes.
so about
What
a
does
month.
that mean?
We'll see. About a month ago, I don't know what I'm saying. About a month ago, Hello Games sent out these packages to Reddit mods.
Were they filled with white powder?
No,
Okay.
they were filled with like swag, like T-shirts and little like No Man's Sky statues and things like that.
Okay.
But they were also filled. Well, they also had each of these packages had a cassette tape.
Is this an ARG?
It might be.
Okay. Go on.
There's a lot to get through here. So.
The way everything has to have an ARG now is just,
What do you mean everything has to have an ARG? What
So many
ARGs are you getting in on?
me personally, nothing. I but like it.
Well, what other
there's
ARGs
been
have
a
you heard
trend
about?
recently?
Yeah.
Blizzard had one for
Sombra?
Sombra, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't there a Sombra ARG and like
Maybe.
Wait, I'm gonna. What's an ARG?
alternate reality game or augmented reality?
Okay.
Game.
Yeah,
the
it's like
idea is
it's a thing where like you'll find clues on websites for things, and then sometimes that'll be related to locations in real life, and you go there and there's like this thing, and sometimes it has like
Okay.
actors,
Yeah,
right.
you know.
Or like someone will actually call your phone
Yep.
and you have to answer questions,
Yeah.
and then you go and pick up a box somewhere buried in the desert.
Okay.
And usually it takes thousands of people working together.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which it did in this case.
And there are some very cool ones, and there are some that aren't actually promotions for anything straightforward. There's a thing called, I think it's like Cicada 3308. I
Okay.
think something like that. And it's as far as people can tell, probably a recruiting technique for like a secret government agency of some sort. And they do things like they lay code and do you know what steganography is?
Yes, we're going to cover that.
Okay. Well, then I'll say no more.
Yeah, keep
I
going.
think we're going to cover that. Is it the audio hidden messages and the audio?
Not just audio. It's hidden messages within another medium.
Oh, okay.
A very common one is like in images, every X pixel will be like a different thing.
Okay.
Like, and then that pixel is where they're hiding data basically.
Oh, wow.
Like every 8th pixel
Yeah.
is of a shade that
Oh my
is
God.
assigned to a character in the
Yeah.
alphabet. And
See, that
it's
kinda
not
stuff is
clearly
insane.
visible, but
Yeah.
you can,
There was one. I don't want to jump ahead, but there was one where like the people heard like certain like weird anomalies in an audio, and nothing came up on the like spectrograph thing. There was no
Right.
hidden messages in that, but they figured that they then transferred that audio into MIDI, and those things, those anomalies had like certain values or something,
Okay.
which they then turned into like their alphabetical equivalent, like number on
Right.
in the alphabet, and then
Yeah.
it spelled out a word or something like that. I'm like, who the hell
yeah.
is even thinking to do any of this? Like,
Right.
it's crazy.
Nerds.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it is.
Yeah, I actually find that stuff interesting.
It is.
I just don't think it needs to be like a promotion for a game.
I mean, yeah. But you know what No Man's Sky is like in their hype.
Yep.
They got it.
They
gotta
sure do.
something.
They
Yeah.
sure do meet it all the time, don't they? They really are good at meeting the hype.
Yeah. So I'll
Yeah, take us through.
I'll get through this a little bit.
Let's drag us through this journey.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so these cassette tapes got
Yeah.
sent out, and they were labeled out of
Cassette
16.
tapes.
Yeah, that was part of the craziness, because people were saying that they didn't have cassette
Right.
players,
Why
so they had
would
to
you
go
use-
out and buy cassette players and listen to them, and then transfer them into the PC.
Wax cylinders with
Yeah, and then transfer that into the PC, and then they started to see in the spectrograph, which is like this thing in the audio. There were these like numbers, like clearly visible numbers in it, and they worked out that these numbers, through I don't know, some math thing, worked out that these numbers said the word portal.
Okay.
And one of the packages also had a handwritten message that was also talking about like a giant gateway in the abyss and all this sort of stuff, and it was all like weirdly cryptic and stuff like that. And I gotta go through a lot.
He's taking down notes.
I got notes.
Wait, Blake, were you involved in this?
No.
Okay.
No. And
Are you one of the mods?
I was not one of the mods.
Do you have a cassette player?
No. I had to think. So there was that. So that was like super weird.
Yeah.
And nothing sort of became of that for a while. And then this that seemed to sort of just be running off on its own.
Sure.
And then separate to that, there's a Twitter account called for ARG Net, and they're like a website that sort of is kind of like the gateway to a lot of ARGs. Like you go on their website and they've got like games running, and there's like a Pokemon Go ARG, and there's like all these other random ARGs.
Sure.
And they tweeted this link to a website that had all these radio stations all around the world, and when you click on one, you can listen to that radio station. And then that was getting shared around an amateur radio club forum.
Uh-huh.
And they just thought that it was, a weird, cool thing. They were like, oh, what's this ARG got to do with radio stuff? Maybe we'll look into it. And then one of them started saying that it was corrupted or something like that.
Okay.
And they recorded it, and they looked in the spectrograph, and it said it had the website wakingtitan.com.
Uh-huh.
And they go to Waking Titan, and it's like it's this weird website that has you click on these like buttons, and it's got like passwords or something like that, and nobody knows what these passwords are for.
Yeah.
Or what they are. I was up till like 1:30 last night making all these notes.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, you know what? I'll just breeze. I'll forget about the notes.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, they went to this website, and they figured out some puzzle that meant that they had to go and meet someone at a cafe in New York.
Okay.
They met this person. In New York, and they had a memo that looked like it had coordinates.
Sure.
That they figured out were coordinates for a planet in No Man's Sky.
Okay.
And then somebody went to this planet in No Man's Sky, and they found a communications device that had the answer to one of these passwords on this website, Waking Titan.
Gotcha.
All right, and then that unlocked these radio stations on that radio station site came online.
Okay.
And the Waking Titan said to listen to a particular radio station on a particular day, and which they did, and they got this weird ad for a weird company.
Uh-huh.
And they went to this company's website, and there were like weird puzzles on this website.
Uh-huh.
And then they found through those puzzles they found like the
next password.
The next password, and it went on like this for a little while.
Yep.
And
what is it? What did it unlock?
It unlocked.
What was the point of this?
The point is that there's an update to No Man's Sky coming.
Oh my god!
in August.
This is what I hate about ARGs. This is
That's it.
That's kind of it, and then That's pretty much it for now. And they figured out that there's this.
There's a content update.
There's a content update coming in August.
Oh man!
Imagine if they put that money towards the actual update.
And they're like, guys, you asked for it. Amateur radio station.
Yeah, amateur radio station. Here we go.
No Man's Sky gives you
browser puzzles.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, like after that, everyone's like, all right, this is definitely a No Man's Sky thing. This is happening. This is coming. And then this website Atlas, which was part of this whole ARG thing, started a Twitter stream, and they were saying that they were basically saying like in character that this whole thing has been a test for everyone, and we're gonna be putting out more puzzles for people to solve, basically. And if you sign up to this website, you could receive a level 4 Atlas Pass, which is a thing in No Man's Sky. So I signed up to that website. And that's it.
You're the Auckland representative
Yeah.
of whatever the hell this thing is.
It's because there's only one person in each city who plays that game still.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, dude, like there's so much like ridiculous stuff of like of radio stations coming online and listening to ads and figuring out like these weird puzzles. And there was like people were emailing like these fake companies and getting like random weird cryptic messages back and figuring stuff out. And
I mean,
and it
cool.
all was just to be
For
like we got a patch coming on in August.
Like,
brace yourself.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against ARGs. I think they're cool in like theory. In fact, the very earliest ones, I think the first one was for the movie AI.
Right.
And then shortly after that, there was one for Halo 2.
Nick, can I hit you with some AI trivia right now?
Sure, hit me with it.
Those things at the end of the movie. What
Oh, the aliens?
Not aliens.
Oh, what?
They were future humans, right?
Nope.
No?
What? What were they?
They're future robots.
Oh my god.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Amazing, huh?
What?
Okay. Yeah, it's cool.
All right.
I quite liked that movie.
Same here. But I'm more baffled that, Blake, you stayed up to God knows what time.
It was 1:30.
Noting this stuff.
Noting down.
Yeah, I noted
Blake,
down all this
Blake
stuff.
barely
And
commits
then-
extra time to work.
And then was like, I noted down.
I need to find out what's happening with this content update.
Oh my god.
What are they adding? Oh my god, there's more vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I wrote down all this stuff because I was like, oh man, like each individual like discovery is interesting, but then as the whole, it's just like, it's like an ad and then a radio station and then a puzzle is solved and then that unlocks another radio station and then there's another
That's the
ad.
thing. They feed it out piecemeal to
Yeah.
make, and it sounds epic. And I'm sure when you're involved, it feels epic.
Yeah.
And then everyone else outside of it is like, so you go to
Well,
three
that-
websites and you type in some things that are in the metadata. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
See, that's the thing. Just me explaining it, I'm realizing like, yeah, it is just like this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then it's a content update.
Yep.
But then there was like
It's the journey, man.
Maybe it is. I was on a journey last night, and I was like, this is gonna be fun, great. But and it was funny too because like the guy that I was watching all his YouTubes of, who was doing the updates of this, he ended up being sent one of these tapes, and so he suddenly became like involved in it as well.
Yeah.
Have you played Frog Fractions?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
man.
heard of it. Yeah.
Did you like it, Saveun?
I got into the text adventure part, and then I was like, I'm not good at this.
I quite liked the text adventure.
I don't know how to deal with it, but it was good. I like what it was doing.
Yeah. So they made a sequel.
Mm.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know that
What
there was an
game
ARG
did they
for
hide it in?
No.
Huh?
Didn't they hide it in another
They
game?
did hide it in another.
Do you know what game they hid it in?
I do. I don't remember the name of it, but it's like a fairy city building
Right.
game. Like you build a fairy city, and there are two ways to access the game. At some point, you build your city tall enough that you are like told to start digging underground to expand further, or you can just start immediately digging underground, and like way, 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 way deep underground is the entrance to Frog Fractions 2. But I'm pretty sure that there was a huge ARG around Frog Fractions 2, and they basically hid puzzle pieces inside of a bunch of other Steam games.
Actually, I had heard something like that.
You may have seen it. It was
Firewatch
like
had one. Firewatch had a puzzle.
I think so. Yeah, there was a bunch of like concentric circle pieces. Yeah. And so that I kind of like like I said, I like the idea of ARGs in theory, and I quite like.
Yep.
This one felt suitable because Frog Fractions itself was buried within. Like it was about hidden information.
Well, also is that you don't know it's about Frog Fractions from the start. Like this whole No Man's Sky thing was initiated by Hello Games.
Yeah,
like
that's what makes it
sent
gross,
out
right?
they sent out these things that started it.
Yeah.
And so, like, you got to think like, well, I guess the ultimate thing is that either they got announce a new game or an update to No Man's Sky, and so it's probably a No Man's Sky thing because that's all
they do.
all they do, and all the like secret documents that have been unlocked in the thing are alluding to like No Man's Sky and stuff like that.
What makes I mean, I think almost every ARG is to some degree kicked off by the people who see the information.
Sure, but they did it so directly.
Do it so directly. Like the very famous one I know of is called I Love Bees or I Heart Bees.
Was that Halo?
That was Halo. Yeah. And I suspect that one was kicked off by Microsoft reps to some degree. But ideally the ARG takes on a life of its own, and they just put the information out there and they wait for someone to find it.
Yeah.
Right. And that makes it much more interesting. I don't, especially when it's for an update. It's going to be if it's a paid update, that's going to suck, right? Like, oh, so you spend all that money on the ARG to,
I know, right? Like you
really, guys?
I don't. That's why I found it so interesting. This is why I found it so interesting because, like, the whole No Man's Sky thing was a mess anyway. How like this is just adding to the mess. Like this is just, I don't know. Like they should just be making a better game.
Yep. This is I think ultimately the problem with No Man's Sky in the first place was they went for a larger scope than they were capable of handling.
Yeah.
Right? And they're trying to do I Love Bees was done by like a PR organization being funded by Microsoft. I think this was a big budget thing.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is it was a small indie team.
Well, I think the thing is I think they've got I think they might have like some ARG company involved with it. Like they must because
but
it
doesn't sit well with me for some reason.
No.
It doesn't sit well with me.
Because you're like why is this money not going towards the game? Like, what are you doing?
And this could have been done entirely within the game.
Yes.
And it would be much more interesting.
They only had one, like, little piece of it that was in the game.
Yep.
If they had a random little sneaky update that hid symbols all over the place.
Right. And consider if it started in the game and then crept outside of the game. That makes it much more interesting.
Yeah.
To have it start outside the game and then creep back in is much less interesting, in my opinion.
Yeah. So anyway, looking forward to this update. It's going to be great.
Yep. They're going to add 4 more vehicles. There's going to be another spacesuit.
Universe is going to be 4 times larger.
You're going to get to the middle of it, and there's going to be several universes.
Yeah.
We've probably... How much time do we have left?
We should read out that top email there that we got.
That very top one?
Yep.
This is from Vivan.
Yep.
Or Vivan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Before I kick this email off, I'll just let our listeners know if they want to email us. frontseatquestions@gmail.com. Our email is always open. You can walk inside and put an email on the e-table, and we will open it and read it. You can tweet at FrontSeatCast. That's our Twitter. Facebook.com/FrontSeatCast is our Facebook page. FrontSeatGamer.wordpress.com is our WordPress page. We have comments on there sometimes. Sometimes they're pretty good. In fact, most of the time they're pretty good. Sometimes they're Blake updating the thing.
Yes.
Yep. And YouTube.com/FrontSeatCast. We have chunks of audio on there. And at some point, it sounds like we're going to make Saveun play a video game that he hates. So that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that. You should rate us on iTunes. You should tell your friends about us. And we're part of the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network, AGPN on Twitter. All right. This is from Vivant. Hi, guys. As always, thank you so much for these podcasts. I really enjoyed the last one with Sav and Nick. It's such an interesting debate to hear the different perspectives that people have, even when they're wrong. Sorry, Sav. I still love you, Sav. This is actually him saying it, but also, I still love you, Sav. Anyway, this is a comment regarding an older podcast, but Nick mentioned not liking the Injustice game very much. I'm with Sav on being a Street Fighter fan when it comes to fighting games, but the comic for Injustice is really, really friggin' good. It's so much more interesting when you see the good guys become the bad guys, and Superman as a villain is far more interesting than as a good goody two-shoes guy. There was a guy who would upload all kinds of comics to Imgur. Check him out at deadpoolsupplier.imgur.com. He has almost every issue of Injustice there, and I highly recommend giving it a read. Well, yeah, I've never been a huge comic fan personally, although I did read like Transmetropolitan way back when. By the way, the guy who did Transmetropolitan, have you seen Castlevania on Netflix?
Yes.
Have you watched it?
Yes.
It's okay, right?
I thought it was great.
Yeah, it's not bad. I didn't love it. There was like weird stuff. Like there was a scene where he goes like, that priest really could make holy water. Just out of nowhere. Like what?
Well, that's the audience is aware.
Yeah. Oh, that was holy water.
After he said, "Hey, priest, go do some stuff with some water."
Because he also had all this salt. And the salt and the water looked identical. Anyway,
oh yeah, that's right. It did.
There were some issues. I think partially probably because it didn't have a huge budget. I think they've got a season 2 coming out with 8 episodes. Should be better. Yep. Anyway, back on topic. Sorry, Saveun. He's about to give the Stellaris episode a listen. I've been playing it on and off while also playing the 3.0 beta as well. I have to say it. The music in that game is phenomenal. It's so soothing and catchy. Is that our game or is that Stellaris?
I think both. Stellaris has got some good music though.
Yeah, but Camille at work doing a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
One thing I've definitely noticed more after listening to the podcast is I'm paying more attention to the environmental details in the game. I remember zooming in to stuff so much more in the beta and thinking, did Blake design this? The food and random things on the tables in the Act 5 tower look really great. You've got at least one fan who appreciates your work. Did
you do the fruit in the Act 5 town, or was that?
I was involved. I didn't make them.
That was Darian?
That might.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Well, who?
But Darian can take credit for it. We had some outsources on the fruit. Actually.
Oh, specifically the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, got to get that
the
orange
the fruit,
outsourced.
the sausages, yeah, that kind of stuff.
He says, I've also made "yeah, buddy" part of my everyday language now because Sav is awesome.
That's fucking great.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know I had a catchphrase. And after I read that email, I was trying to think of where I got that from.
I suspect you know where I think you got that from.
Tell me.
I think you got that from Pauly Shore.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yeah, Futurama.
From Futurama.
Yeah. He's in. Do you know the episode?
I think he's in an episode, right?
Yeah.
He might.
Is he in more than one? I don't remember.
Yeah, man. He runs off with Fry's girlfriend in the. Do you know the one?
It sounds.
Pauly Shore.
He unfreezes Pauly Shore. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. All right.
Oh man. Okay.
But I've seen Pauly Shore movies.
Yeah.
Encino Man is a classic.
Right.
And yeah, he says, "Yeah, buddy, we's in the jizz," and stuff like that. He was very much a symbol of the 90s.
Mm-hmm. I only know him through Futurama.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Whatever happened to Pauly Shore?
His gimmick wore off, really.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Done.
Yeah.
No one wanted to watch him anymore. No more.
He's immortalized in Biodome.
Yep.
Biodome.
Biodome is great.
Is it?
I don't really remember.
Well, me neither.
I watched that.
I remember laughing at it when I was a teenager, but I don't remember anything about that movie.
Not good. I wouldn't rewatch that one. I think Encino Man is worth rewatching.
Yeah?
But that's because Sean Astin is great.
Okay.
Yes, that movie's fantastic. Cool. Well, thank you for the email, Vivan.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, buddy is a good phrase.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm bringing it back, fellas.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I'm gonna try.
So you've got that catchphrase, and I was like, and when I read that email, I was like, yeah, you do. That is your catchphrase.
The thing is, I don't even catch myself. This is a great catch.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Is a good catchphrase. You don't even know you're saying it.
You just as part of your everyday vernacular, and then people start picking up on it.
My question is, what is Nick's catchphrase?
Why mine? Why are we choosing mine? What's
I want the listeners to write in.
Oh God.
On what Nick's catchphrase is,
and then furthermore, say why you think Blake is fine. Just
fine.
Yeah, no, just fine. Tell me what you think Blake's most average feature is. If we're doing Nick's catchphrase, we're doing Blake's most average feature.
Man, why?
Okay, well, we're running it down.
Yeah.
Nick won't be here. I'm not sure if we're gonna record another.
Yeah,
episode.
we might have to skip an episode just because work's gonna get cray.
Yep, because of 3.0.
Yep.
But who's gonna say it? Should I say it? I'll say it.
Oh, yep, you say it.
Yeah. Okay, Chris.
Oh,
Big dog.
Big dog Chris.
Sea-Dog.
Yep.
Chris Wilson, not Chris H, not Chris who
Yep.
worked on the Xbox port. Although I love Chris H, he's fantastic.
Chris Wilson, of Grinding Gear fame.
Yeah,
Boss. Big.
the boss
Big
man.
Yeah.
Big Papa Chris.
Yeah,
We're hoping to have him on when we get back.
Yep.
yeah, probably a couple
It would be 4 weeks.
Yeah, about
Yep.
a month
Yeah.
from now.
So we'll
Yeah.
be able to talk about 3.0.
Yeah,
That's going to be cool.
But also, we want questions.
yeah. If you've got questions for Chris, or me,
Yep.
no. If you've got questions for Chris, email frenzyquestions@gmail.com or tweet us. You know the deal. Just rewind the podcast 5 minutes. You'll hear it.
Yep.
All right, we'll be back then probably, and we look forward to hearing from you. We thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, Saveun. Thank you for being here, Blake. Thank you for being here, me. Okay, bye.
Well, you are the Carl Pilkington of the podcast.
Carl Pilkington isn't the host, though. You know what I mean? A host
true.
a podcast where the host is the Carl Pilkington just doesn't work.
Wait, he is a host, right?
No,
Of the
it's called the Ricky Gervais Show.
of the Idiot Abroad thing.
Yeah, he is. What about Video Abroad?
He's not so much the host as much as he is the thing that things are happening to.
The,
I like
the
that.
subject.
Did you guys see the one where he went with Warwick Davis? I was thinking about that the other day. The only time I saw him smile that whole time was when he strapped a whole bunch of balloons to Warwick Davis and walked around like he was like some kind of balloon man.